There is a simple technique that can advance your playing today, but it's often ignored. It's so simple. We're going to talk about it today. I'm going to show you what it is. So, as a teacher, people come to me with their challenges. I'm thankful for that because I know I can help. And there's a recurring theme that comes up. They tell me there's a challenge I'm having, fill in the blank. Common one is range, another is sound, another is endurance, especially endurance. And this is a big problem in the eyes of my students, but I know the solution is fairly simple. Now, of course, we need a routine and we build upon that day by day. But something you can do right now, no matter where you are, no matter what your skill level is, right now, you can play softer. That's the answer. Now, I want to show you something. Let's go here. In the Clarke book, give me a second to pull it up. You can see it, but let me pull it up on my screen. All right, in the Clarke book, a lot of the exercises have a certain dynamic marking. Look, here's the answer right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. Pianissimo. Each and every one of these is pianissimo. When I go to each study, this is here. Piano in the second study. And as I go throughout the book, it's piano. We are to practice soft. As we practice soft, we gain control. All right, so practicing soft is the answer to your challenges in terms of gaining better control of your trumpet, gaining a better sound on your trumpet. Endurance is a big one. Many of you have issues with endurance because you are overblowing. Practicing soft is the key. Now, you can reap benefits from this right now. Right now. If you haven't done your routine today, play your routine, do the whole thing softly. You will hear and feel improvement. This is something that we can do right now. Now, there's a question that came up. I actually sent an email about this today, and I need to read one of the comments that came back to me in my email. He said, "Hi, Chris, I understand you about playing softer, but it's hard to do. I always start to play louder when I have to reach a higher note." So now we need to talk about dynamics. The reason why it's harder to play on a higher note is because you're already playing too loud. So if you're already too loud, where can you go dynamically? There's nowhere left to go. The key to playing loud is actually learning how to play soft. That gives you dynamic range. Range is the key word. Range is the key word. Now, playing soft, before I say that, in general, dynamics are relative, especially when you're in a group, right? Dynamics are relative. But that's why you practice on your own to increase your dynamic range. So regardless of what your level is today, it can still be improved upon. All right? It can still be improved upon. So with intention, you can improve your dynamic range. So do what you can to not press so hard, literally. Like playing loud causes you to press against your face, which in turn diminishes vibration in the lips, right? And then your sound's going to be poor and your endurance is going to be less than it would be otherwise. All right, so playing soft opens up a new world of endurance and sound production. All right, so how can we practice this? I'm going to show you right now long tones. So wherever you are right now in your dynamic ability, I want you to practice what's known as the soft, loud, soft series of long tones. I get this directly out of the Caruso book. All right. Now you don't have to apply the rules of Caruso. It's just soft, loud, and soft. Oftentimes, what happens is the player will play softer the second time on the back end of the note than they do on the front end of the note. So then the goal is to play as soft at the beginning as you do at the end. And that's how you know you're growing day by day. So um, normally you would have a metronome. Matter of fact, I have one here. I'll turn it on. Not sure if you'll hear it, but I'm going to turn it on. Let's go to 72 BPM. And you're going to be at your loudest point around 6, 7, and 8. And you're going to be at your softest point at the first beat and the last beat. Listen to this. Okay, that was too fast for me. I need to slow it down to 60. But you heard the point. So I always like to tell people too, a problem that I see is that people are afraid to explore the edges of their range. So when you're learning how to do this, allow your sound to become raspy. I'll show you. Allow that raspiness to come into play so that you know how far you can go. You want to know what your limits are. And then when you know what they are in performance, you don't go that far. In practice, you go that far. In practice, you push the boundaries. And that's so in performance, you know what your boundary is so that you don't ever cross that line. Okay? Just the same on the soft end, don't be afraid to explore the boundary. So you want to go as soft as you can. You want to know what is the point where I begin to lose the note and it doesn't sound anymore. So I'm going to demonstrate that. Now there was a tone there. I don't know if you heard it through the microphone, but it was so soft. It was mainly air, but there was a tone there. That's something I can explore. Explore the extremes of your sound in both directions. All right, you need to know what the boundaries are. And then in performance, don't cross it. Now, that's just with long tones. Now, what happens? Let's go back to the Clarke study. What happens if you practice these types of exercises in a soft way? I'm going to go to study number 4. Okay, here we go. So let's play this one softly. All right. I'm sorry that was not a clean performance, but the dynamic is soft. Now listen to this in contrast. If I played the whole thing at a louder dynamic, I'll get tired. Listen to this. in some ways that was good because I was louder and my air was going. So I think I could perform it better, softer, and still have my airflow be forward. And matter of fact, I want another go at that soft dynamic because it didn't have to be as sloppy as it was. All right, that's better. So I can last longer if I'm playing softer. When I practice playing softer, I can build endurance over time faster than if I'm playing all out, loud, all the time. Or worse, if I'm not even considering dynamics at all. All right. So practice dynamics. This is a sign of a mature trumpet player. You're going to gain um, ability in the areas of endurance, tone, flexibility, everything. Now, if I'm going to answer my question, let's go back to the concern that one of the email readers had. He said, I understand what you're saying about playing softer, but it's hard to do. So I'm saying practice it and it's going to become easier. Okay. I always start to play louder when I have to reach a higher note. Now let's talk about the higher note. I started to address this and then I always go off on a tangent, but I feel like I've laid the foundation. So as you improve on your ability to play softer, that's going to give the illusion of you being able to play louder. All right, and even if it's not an illusion, you have come to explore the extreme ends of your dynamic range. Make sense? All right, now I feel like I need to transition from the Clarke study. Let's go to Colin. I like Colin. For the longest time, I wondered about these markings. Look at this. You see a long slur, and then we have these accents in the middle of a slur. Why is that? That never made sense to me. Now I know better. What we're doing here, we are slurring everything, and we're accenting the top note with our wind. Only with our wind. We're not tonguing that note. We're giving an extra puff of wind. All right. So that's going to make the note stand out louder. So in a way, when you're playing a higher note and you're playing louder, in a way that's correct. In a way. Now the way what I'm telling you right now is according to the way that Claude Gordon would teach someone how to play trumpet, and Colin as well. And if I understand correctly, they were at least colleagues, and they would talk about these things. All right, so let's look at this. I'm going to play this and give you an example. Like, for example, let's just play number 5. I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling and scrolling. Not really a fun video, but I might not even edit this out. We'll see. I could do number 9. Let's start with number 5, though. All right, so when you're talking about playing a higher note and playing louder, in a way that's correct. And that's easier. It's easier to do when you play softer. So first, I'm going to demonstrate how most people play it. And then I'm going to demonstrate a better way with the softer dynamic. Now, that was harder to do for me than normal. And I can honestly tell you, I don't feel so good in my lips after playing that way. Now let me show you a better way by playing a soft dynamic and then accenting the top note. All right, did you hear a difference? Tell the truth. If you did or didn't, I can tell you the second one felt better to me as the player. It was easier to control. All right. I actually think I could do better in terms of playing soft. Let's do one more. All right, that last one felt more like home when I changed my body angle. All right. So that's an example of how one can practice soft and then gain skill over time. Now, when I do the soft practice with my students, whatever their challenge is, they immediately overcome it. Immediately meaning like before the end of the lesson, they'll overcome it. Excuse me, because playing soft is a good way to improve. All right. So I'll leave you with the story, and then I will go on. So once upon a time, I was in the jazz club, and the band was really, they sounded good to me. But I noticed, I look around and I'm listening, the audience is talking. And I was a little frustrated, like, man, why is everybody talking? I want to listen to the music. And don't you want to listen to the music? Like, is that not why we are all here? The answer is no. People come out for their own reasons not to listen to music, to be social and like. But what happened was the people were talking so loud. I heard that over the music. And I think the band members realized that and they started playing loud. And it just went back and forth and it was just loud in the room. Not very enjoyable for those paying attention to that. But then a friend of mine by the name of Sean Johnson played a trumpet solo. And it was so soft that everybody in the room stopped talking to listen to what he was doing. They listened to every note of his solo. And at the end of the solo, there was a big cheer for what he had just performed. And the lesson is when you play softly, you can bring people in, you can draw people in. Playing softly is a great skill to develop, and I want that for you, and I'm going to keep working on it myself. Click the like button if you learned something new today, and if you're going to apply it. Share it with somebody if you like this lesson. Click or tap on the next video, and I'll continue. Click or tap on the next video, and I'll see you there to help you continue your learning. All right, take care.